Imagine standing beside a tranquil lake at sunrise. The water is calm, almost like glass, but underneath that peaceful surface, you notice movement, a quick flash of silver. Huge fish glide through the shadows below, each one large enough to feed your family for weeks. Now, pause and consider what would be the worst thing you could do right now. It would be to throw yourself into the water, splashing wildly, frantically chasing those fish. The idea almost seems ridiculous, but this is exactly how most people approach the markets every day. They jump in headfirst, panicked, desperate, and hungry for profit. Meanwhile, just like those cautious fish, the market senses the faintest sign of desperation and slips away. Ask any seasoned fisherman, and they'll tell you the same thing out here. You're not in control. You can't decide when the fish will bite. You can't force them, persuade them, or strike a deal. Fish live by their own rhythms. They ride the currents, respond to the seasons, and follow instincts you'll never fully understand or control. They swim through their world, untouched by your worries, your rent, your ambitions, your greatest hopes. They mean nothing in the world of fish. They follow their own rules, completely indifferent to human concerns. The only thing you can control is how well you prepare. You choose which rod to use, what kind of bait to bring, and where to set up along the shoreline. You decide when to arrive and how much you learn about the lake and the fish you want to catch. Is your gear ready? Have you sharpened your hooks and checked your line's strength? That is your universe of control, nothing more, nothing less. Now take all of that wisdom and apply it to trading. The truth is, you have zero influence over which way the market moves. You can't make prices rise or fall. Volatility has a rhythm all its own. News breaks unexpectedly. Huge trades from hedge funds and shifts in the crowd's mood are out of your control. Politics, interest rates, and company profits, none of these answer to you or care about the bills on your kitchen table. The market moves forward, indifferent to it all. So what can you control? You have power over your trading plan. This means you need to set your own risk safeguards, decide how big each position should be, and know exactly when you'll enter and exit a trade. You also need to plan your trading schedule, pick your markets, and determine how much capital you're willing to risk every time. When it comes time to act, you're also responsible for your own mindset, whether you've spent hours backtesting your strategy or truly understand the instrument you're trading. But here's the trap. Most traders spend almost all their energy trying to predict or outsmart the market itself. It's like standing on a dock, staring at the water and hoping the fish will just do what you want. Meanwhile, those who trade for a living dedicate most of their energy to preparation. Then, when the right moment comes, they act without hesitation and without drama. Take a moment to reflect on your latest trade. Really think about it. Were you focused on the solid groundwork you'd put in, or just excited about how much you could potentially earn? Did you make sure the setup truly matched your strategy, or did you immediately start imagining the profits? This is where the line is drawn between beginners and seasoned pros. The experienced ones, they know the waters, they know exactly where the fish are likely to be. They don't just cast their line anywhere in the lake, hoping for luck to strike. Instead, they pay close attention to patterns, the habits of the fish, their favorite depths, and how water temperature changes their location. They know about the many hiding spots below the surface. Every choice is intentional, shaped by years of observation and patience. To a newcomer, a lake might seem like nothing more than a wide, mysterious stretch of water. But to a seasoned pro, that same lake is full of stories. They can see where the bottom suddenly drops off, where the beds of weeds are hidden, notice small changes in temperature, and sense the subtle movements in the current. Before they even cast a line, they've already picked their spot with care and precision. Now, let's shift our focus to trading, because the same principle applies. The top professionals know exactly where liquidity pools are likely to form. They don't just chase price moves and hope for the best. Instead, they dig deep, analyzing the mechanics of the market itself. They can spot where orders pile up, understanding that these invisible boundaries shape both structure and opportunity. They notice patterns, familiar rhythms that pulse through the market, reflections of age-old human behavior. So, what are these experts truly searching for? Liquidity pools are like pockets where traders' stop losses gather, similar to fish feeding in one spot. These traders are always watching for areas where breakout traders are waiting to strike and where institutional limit orders are stacked. These zones are magnetic. They naturally draw the market in because that's where the real money is concentrated. If you've ever watched an expert angler, you'll notice something interesting. There's no wild movement, no constant shifting. With a single cast and a steady hand, they wait, they let the lake speak. Years of experience give them this quiet confidence. There's no show, no anxiety, just a process, repeated so often it's become second nature. Masters of this craft know a simple truth: the fish appear when the balance of nature is just right. You can't rush it, and tension won't help. What matters is readiness, patience, and a calm presence, so you're prepared when the moment comes. Years of observation teach them the subtle signals: a gentle tug, a change in the pattern that say it's time to act. They can feel the difference between a light nibble and a decisive strike. They know precisely when to give a swift tug to set the hook, and when it's wiser to let the fish run for a moment. None of this is rushed. Mastery comes from steady practice and endless repetition. Now imagine applying this same discipline to trading. The best traders aren't exciting to watch. They're not jumping in and out of positions all day, and they don't sit frozen at their screens, overwhelmed by fear or excitement. Instead, they follow a checklist, a set of strict rules. If a setup matches their criteria, they act. If not, they simply wait. There's no drama, no adrenaline rush. The process has become second nature, almost automatic. They have a rare kind of emotional steadiness. This isn't apathy, it's wisdom earned through experience. Their self-esteem no longer depends on the outcome of a single trade. Whether they succeed or fail on any given day, it doesn't shake their inner balance. Imagine reaching a point where your peace of mind isn't tied to every win or loss. That's the true mark of a seasoned trader. What really matters isn't just the outcome of one trade, but how carefully they stick to a system they trust. Their focus is on following their method exactly, knowing that real results come from a long series of well-executed trades. This is the true power of consistency. Small, disciplined actions, repeated over time, add up, leading to meaningful profits in the long run. One flawless trade alone won't change everything, but 100 flawless trades, that's what defines a career. Still, this is where many people stumble. They want instant rewards. They're hungry for that one big win to prove themselves. The need to impress, or just to feel like they've finally figured it out, can easily pull them off track. As soon as boredom or frustration sets in, patience disappears. The strategy that was carefully built for long-term success gets abandoned after just a few losses. In that moment, the game is already over for them. The market doesn't care about your urgency, your emotional highs and lows, or your need to prove yourself. Instead, it quietly rewards those who show up day after day, stick to their plan without drama, and let the odds play out over time. It's a lot like fishing. The angler who comes back season after season studying the lake, refining their skills, and truly connecting with the water is the one who sees real results. It's the same for any expert, whether standing under stadium lights, sitting at a piano, or working over a hot flame. Ask yourself, how do they really practice? Are they frantic, always chasing the next big breakthrough? Or are they quietly persistent, improving through steady repetition? The answer is clear. So why should trading follow different rules? Let's look a little deeper, because what comes next is a lesson most people overlook. Here's the liberating reality. Not every fish that nibbles will end up in the net. Sometimes the hook doesn't catch, sometimes the line snaps, sometimes the fish fights too hard and escapes. And sometimes a simple mistake at the last second is all it takes for victory to slip away. But seasoned anglers aren't shaken by this. They know it's simply part of the process. They don't collapse in a heap of frustration every time a fish gets away. Their identity as an angler stays intact. The sport doesn't suddenly seem unfair or hopeless. Maybe there's a quiet moment of reflection, a brief look back at what went wrong. Then they cast their line out again. Losing one fish fades into the bigger story. It doesn't weigh much when the lake is full of opportunity. But for traders, this lesson hits hardest. Not every trade, no matter how carefully chosen, will turn into a profit. The entry can be perfect, the rules followed exactly, and the outcome might still be a loss. The market makes no promises. It won't hand you a win just because you're disciplined or patient. Even with precision and a solid process, success isn't guaranteed every single time. This is where many traders stumble. They struggle to accept that even the best plan can't always overcome randomness. Some hold on to the idea that perfect execution can remove all uncertainty, and when it doesn't, their confidence starts to fade. When the numbers don't line up in their favor, many begin to think there's something wrong with themselves or their entire approach. But here's the real bottom line: trading, at its core, is all about playing the odds. Imagine your strategy is designed to win 6 out of every 10 trades. That also means you'll lose 4 out of 10, and that's completely normal, even if every decision you made was correct. These losses aren't failures. They don't mean the system is broken. Losses are simply the price of playing the game. Think of them like the fish that get away. They're part of the process, not something to avoid or regret. Losses aren't mistakes to fix. They're built right into the rules of probability. They're not errors, they're expected. Once you accept this, trading becomes much less stressful, and the sting of a losing trade begins to fade away. The urge to second-guess every move after a rough patch begins to fade. You're no longer scrambling frantically to recover losses or lashing out at the market. Instead, acceptance brings a sense of peace that changes the whole experience. Now you can focus on following your plan, logging your trades, and trusting that if you have a real edge and sound risk management, time will let the statistics play out. There's always another opportunity ahead, another trade, another setup, just beyond the horizon. Taking a loss on this trade is, in the grand scheme, insignificant. Think of the angler, spending 8 quiet hours on the water, heading home empty-handed. Maybe the fish just weren't biting. Maybe the weather turned, there were too many boats around, or it was simply the wrong season. Whatever the reason, it doesn't really matter. The result is the same, not a single fish caught. So does that make the fisherman a failure? Was the day wasted? Should we give up fishing and switch to golf instead? Absolutely not. Anyone who truly loves fishing knows that blank days are part of the experience. You can't control nature. All you can do is be prepared and see what happens. But in trading, when there's no opportunity, many people start to panic. Their patience fades. They lose perspective. But in reality, those quiet days are part of the trading landscape too. Traders sit at their monitors trying to create trades out of thin air, convinced they always need to be in the market, so they settle for weak setups, anything to stay active, because admitting that today just isn't the day for high-quality trades feels impossible. The thinking goes, if you search long enough, you'll eventually find something to trade. But this mindset isn't so different from a fisherman, tired of waiting, who jumps into the water and tries to catch the fish by hand. It's desperate, and it almost never ends well. There are times when the smartest strategy is simply to do nothing. Sometimes, restraint is actually the most profitable move you can make. Your main job might just be protecting your capital and waiting for the right conditions that favor your approach. But our human instincts often resist this. We tend to see inactivity as laziness. Watching the market move while you're on the sidelines can feel like you're missing out. Not placing a trade can feel like you're failing as a trader. This is just your ego talking, and it can quickly lead you down a path to self-destruction. The best professionals in this business know how to stay idle when the moment demands it. They don't earn a living from the sheer number of trades they place, but from the quality of their decisions. Sometimes, the wisest move is to step back, protect what you have, and wait until the odds are truly in your favor. I make it a habit to log my no-trade days in my trading journal. Those are the days when I wanted to act, but recognized there was no solid setup and managed to stay out of the market. Over time, I discovered something important. These quiet days hold just as much value in my yearly results as my best trades. Every position I didn't force was money I managed to keep. The truth is, exercising restraint is even more valuable than having the ability to act. Financial markets are always open, constantly offering chances to make mistakes. Every day, there's an endless stream of temptations. Avoiding them is a skill in itself. Here's a reality check. If you can't make it through an entire trading session without placing a single trade and feel genuinely at peace about it, you're just not ready for consistent profits. Trust me, that strong urge to always be in the action will eventually cost you everything. So let me ask you this. When was the last time you shut down your trading platform because there was genuinely nothing to do and felt truly satisfied with that decision? If your answer is never, or you can't remember, you've identified a core problem. The market doesn't care if you're bored. Restlessness is never a good reason to risk your money. Now let's talk about the quality that separates seasoned traders from everyone else. Listen closely, because this is the key. Specialization makes all the difference. Imagine stepping into a room filled with dedicated anglers. If you ask what they fish for, you'll hear clear, confident answers. I go after bass. I am devoted to fly fishing for trout. I chase marlin. Walleye are my specialty. No one is chasing every fish in the sea. They're not swapping between river, lake, and ocean just for the next thrill. Instead, they pick their target, immerse themselves in that specific pursuit, and become experts. They learn the habits, the migration cycles, the best gear, and the right seasons. True mastery comes from narrowing their focus, not spreading it wide. By honing in on one specialty, these anglers consistently reel in results. Now, contrast that with the generalist, someone who's so busy dabbling with a dozen different targets that true expertise always seems just out of reach. This principle is crystal clear when you're out on the water, but for some reason traders keep ignoring it. Instead of carving out a niche, many jump from stocks on Monday to crypto on Tuesday, switch over to Forex by midweek, experiment with futures, and finish the week dabbling in options. One moment they're day trading, the next they're swing trading, or even planning a long-term investment, constantly chasing whatever seems exciting or promising in the moment. It's like trying to catch every type of fish, in every kind of water, using every technique, all at once, and then feeling surprised when nothing works. The truth is, no one can be great at everything. To truly master one market, one time frame, or a single strategy, you need an incredible amount of knowledge. You have to recognize subtle patterns, notice tiny details, and build up hard-earned experience. That level of expertise takes real commitment, years spent running the same playbook and sharpening your skills day after day. When you spread your attention across countless methods and markets, you set yourself up for a lifetime of mediocrity. Real mastery only comes through focused repetition. Without it, that crucial sixth sense, the ability to recognize patterns that separates amateurs from pros, never fully develops. So, make a conscious choice. Pick a single market, a single approach, one time frame or method that truly resonates with you, that fits your routine and matches your personality. The specifics aren't important. What matters is your commitment. Become the person whose depth of knowledge in that area sets you apart. Dive into every detail, study every nuance. Show up, session after session. Analyze and log every trade, catching those subtle details as they happen. Build your trading relationship over years, not just weeks. This is where a real trading edge develops. It's not about being a jack of all trades, but about mastering your chosen niche. My own journey proves this. I focus on one strategy, in one market, at one specific time. That simplicity is my strength. I know when my odds are strong and when they're not. Over the years, I've learned exactly how my setup reacts when the market heats up or cools down. I can recognize the subtle difference between versions that work and those that don't. That kind of insight, knowing my setup inside and out, is my competitive advantage. But I only gained it through focus and repetition. A lot of people think that chasing every opportunity keeps all the doors open. In truth, it often blocks the way to real achievement. Ask yourself, how many different methods have you bounced between just in the last few months? If your answer is more than one, you haven't really given any single approach the chance to prove itself. That's not adaptation, it's just being scattered. Bruce Lee summed it up perfectly. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Excellence doesn't come from jumping between options, but from focused, relentless practice. Keep that lesson in mind. Now let's bring everything together. The real reward, the true source of profit, comes from preparation. Here's a truth that often gets drowned out when you stop obsessing over profits. That's when you actually start earning them. Picture that seasoned fisherman out on the lake. What is he really focused on? Is he anxiously watching his empty bucket, worrying about the fish he hasn't caught? Is he thinking about how much his catch might be worth, or what stories he'll tell about his day? Of course not. Instead, his eyes are on his line, the way the water moves, the subtle clues from nature. He's fully absorbed in his craft, perfecting his movements, and living in the moment. The fish themselves are simply the result of that mindful focus, they're not the main event. This shift in mindset is the turning point for traders. Put your energy into preparation, refining your strategy, executing with purpose, and doing each step right. The profits will follow. They must, because consistent, methodical execution eventually pays off. But if you fixate on the money, the process unravels. Suddenly, every decision centers on short-term gains and losses rather than smart odds. You may start daydreaming about what your profits could buy, instead of checking if your trading rules are truly in place. You might begin counting profits that haven't even materialized, while ignoring the critical task of managing risk on your current positions. This mindset is dangerous. At its core, every choice fueled by the promise of easy money comes from emotion, from attachment, from want, and those decisions almost always fall short compared to ones made with discipline and preparation. The real profits come from groundwork. Say that to yourself until it sticks. Money is made through preparation, not predictions. Not whispers of stock tips, not flashy new tools, and not the latest so-called foolproof tactic. Success is forged in daily, methodical effort, the kind that never makes headlines. Preparation means backtesting your strategy until you can confidently explain its edge, not just hoping it's there. Preparation means putting your trading plan in writing and following it without fail. It's about analyzing the market before it opens, so you can spot opportunities ahead of time. Sometimes, preparation is as simple as checking the economic calendar, another step in building a solid trading day. It's making sure your position sizes match your risk tolerance for every trade. Preparation also means having a well-thought-out watch list, ready to go before the opening bell. And finally, it's reviewing each trade, win or lose, to uncover lessons that will help you next time. Showing up every day with consistency, no matter your mood or your recent streak, is where it all begins. Preparation means treating trading like a disciplined craft, one that deserves your full attention. It's not just a game of chance. When you build your routine around solid preparation, everything starts to shift. Trading no longer feels like an emotional roller coaster. Those constant swings between hope and fear begin to settle, and your sense of self-worth doesn't rise and fall with every trade. Instead, genuine confidence takes root not in your latest result, but in the quiet certainty that you're sticking to your process. Over time, the chase for money fades away, replaced by a calm confidence that rewards come naturally with good practice. For me, the turning point was the day I stopped checking my profit and loss while the markets were open. My focus shifted completely. I just executed my trades and followed my plan, not looking at results until the session was over. During trading hours, my only concern was sticking to my strategy. From that moment on, everything changed. My win rate stayed about the same, but my losses became much smaller. Because I was no longer trapped by my emotions, I could quickly exit any trade that broke my rules. At the same time, my winning trades began to get bigger. I could let them run, without letting fear push me to hit the exit button too soon. As a result, my performance evened out. It wasn't a dramatic change in my numbers, but it completely changed the way I viewed them. My approach to money shifted, and with that, my whole experience as a trader transformed. So take a moment to pause and ask yourself, where is your focus when you're deep in a trade? Are you fixated on your account balance, or are you tuned in to following your process with precision? The answer to that question can be the difference between lasting profits and a series of losses you regret. Let me leave you with a choice, painted in two distinct colors. Picture this: two traders. Trader A starts their day with money worries swirling in their mind. They open their trading platform, holding on to the hope that maybe, just maybe, today will be different. The market makes a sudden move, and immediately, a wave of fear of missing out hits. Trader A sees something that almost matches their criteria and jumps in. The trade fails. Frustration takes over. Now desperate to recover, they try again. That trade fails too. Feeling down and discouraged, they spiral through the rest of the session, making impulsive decisions as the losses pile up. By the end, they shut everything down, defeated, and promise themselves that next time will be different. But in truth, nothing really changes. Now picture Trader B. Their day begins with a careful review of a solid plan. They go through their pre-market analysis, flagging any potential opportunities. When the bell rings, they stay calm, patiently waiting for their setup to appear. If nothing comes, they simply sit on their hands. Hours go by, still nothing, but their resolve stays strong. Finally, at 11:30, their opportunity arrives. With zero hesitation, they trade exactly as planned. The trade succeeds, profit is taken, notes are made, and the platform is closed. Every step feels unhurried, thoughtful, and completely professional. The next day, this disciplined routine will be repeated. There's a clear distinction here. Only one of these traders approaches the market like a true fisherman. The second? That's just someone flailing in the shallows, surprised by the empty net in their hands. This isn't about frantically chasing profits. The true path is to become a trader who naturally attracts profits, almost effortlessly because of who you are and the habits you've developed. Here's what you need to know. Successful trading is rooted in preparation, unshakable patience, consistent habits, and a deep focus on truly mastering your craft. Think of it like fishing. The fish don't care if you need them, but they seem to show up for the angler who quietly puts in steady, patient work. In the same way, the market eventually rewards the trader who shows up each day with care and discipline. Instead of trying to control the market, turn your focus inward. Master your own reactions instead. Let go of your obsession with money. Instead, focus on perfecting your process. Don't jump from one strategy to another. Commit to one edge and make it truly yours. Imagine yourself like a calm fisherman, casting thoughtfully in the soft light of morning, rather than someone frantically splashing about in frustration. The rewards you seek aren't hidden in the chaos of the market. They're quietly waiting within your preparation, ready to be claimed by your discipline. True rewards come from patience and grow through steady consistency. The more desperately you chase after them, the farther they drift away. But when you focus on the process and let go, that's when profits start to find you. If this message resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments below.